And speaking of the most important prop, all of that cash, I assume it was all fake. I mean, I don't know. It seemed like it was fake, but I don't know. But it was probably fake. Did you get to keep any of it? Did you get to take any home as souvenirs?
Oh yeah, 100%. I have a lot of fake cash taken back from the movie.
Yeah, when we did the table read, he had our roles written on $100 bill on top of our scripts.
Yeah.
That's
But they were
awesome.
not real. They were for motion picture only.
Thanks so much for joining me today. I've got Rachel Nielsen and Shelby Hightower talking about Cash Storm, which is coming digital on October 8th, 2024. It is a B movie heist film that has some very smart ladies, some bad criminals, and a tornado with cash. What else could you want? I'm excited to talk to you about this movie, so thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks for having us.
Of course. So I'm just curious. How I know that you worked with Dan before, but how did you get involved in this film specifically? Did you just reach out or did it come across your desk? I'm curious how you got back into the Dan Lantz fold. And I guess we'll start with Rachel because you joined first.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, I've worked with Dan before in the past on several films. I think this is like my sixth or fifth project working with Dan. So I think he just had kind of us all in mind. Like he's worked with kind of I think the whole group of these actors before. He had us in mind for the part. So when he was writing this script, I think he kind of, he knows like our talents and strengths and, kind of wrote these characters in line with that and asked us to be a part of it.
That's perfect. Shelby, same story, different story.
Yeah, very similar. I think I definitely like got to know Dan or first met Dan through my agent for sure. And that was for me on Hayride to Hell. But then, yeah, this is my third feature now with Dan, and we did not have to audition. He wrote it specifically for us in mind, with our voices in mind, which is just an actor's dream. It made it so easy. There's barely any acting required.
That's awesome. And I do love that, like, you already knew, what he was like working with. So it was just easy to like pop in and, get right back in the fold.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the Marvel universe, but Dan.
Yeah, the Dan
the,
Lantz verse.
the Dan
That's
Lance extended universe. Now I know Hayride to Hell was filmed on his, family farm. This looked like a farm too. Was this also filmed on the family farm or was this filmed somewhere else?
Yeah, this was our friend, Dan's friend Mike has his family lives on this huge plot of land in Harleysville, Pennsylvania that has several buildings and a huge garage that we worked with the van a lot in there because it was quite cold. So we were in the van in the garage shooting outside, but not actually shooting outside kind of thing. So it
Ooh.
wasn't on Dan's property. Dan's in Malvern, but we were close by outside of Philadelphia.
I love that because I didn't even think about that. I assumed the weather looked so nice. I assumed it was lovely. I didn't realize that it was freezing cold when you were filming.
Yeah, it was pretty cold.
Mhm.
Eek. So you both play like scientists in this one. I don't know what your background is. I don't know, what you studied in school, but did you have to do any prep to become sciency other than just put on a lab coat and say some words? We'll start with Shelby again.
Yeah, you could go ahead.
Sure. Definitely not. As you said, this was a B movie. This was a lot of fun. So, um, other than pronunciation of any sciencey words, I didn't find myself, really, I didn't find it urgent to really try to understand actually what's happening with the tornado from a science perspective, just because of how fun this movie is, and it didn't really feel necessary.
Yeah, you'd have to go into too much explanation. I was curious. Maybe you like, read like a meteorology book. I don't know what that would be called. Yeah, maybe meteorology is what the right
That
word
would
would
be
be.
intense for this level. What we did was make up a lot of fun terms and pictures to write on all the post-its that are all around our little lab. So that was as close as I got.
That's perfect. Rachel, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't like too much delving into the science of it on my end. I do have like an acquaintance who actually was a storm chaser, so I got to kind of ask him a little bit about like his experiences and interview him a bit for that just to kind of, I guess, get a feel for it. But Mostly like what Shelby said, like this was just, it was a lot of fun. It was kind of just like focused more on the characters and their relationships anyways. So we just got to kind of embrace that and go for the ride.
Now I'm fascinated. What does your friend who's a storm chaser like? What is their end goal? Do they catch the storm? Are they doing research? Or they just like want the YouTube videos for clicks? Like what are they
It
doing?
was it was mostly for like school and research. He's like not a storm chaser anymore. I think that was a bit of like a, crazy life. But yeah.
And he has all of his limbs still. He's still
Yes,
intact
he
in
is
general.
alive and intact. He survived.
That was it seems like it could be a very, very dangerous, dangerous job, even when even if you're doing it for the right reasons, if you're doing it for
Oh
science.
yeah. 100%.
So it seems like this was just a fun project to come back to. What was it like coming back to work with Dan before? I mean, it seems like you just jumped right in, everything was fine. But was it anything different about this filming versus some of the other ones that you've worked on with him? And we'll start with you, Rachel.
Sure. I mean, this was definitely different as far as like the first film that I did with Dan was Alpha Rift. That was kind of just like a bigger production. This was a smaller cast. Like we were mostly filming like it's the field and the van was kind of the main places that we were filming. So like it was kind of just like there were different elements involved to that, I guess. And but I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was just mostly, I loved getting to know like Shelby and Rachel a lot while we were doing this project. So.
That's awesome.
It was nice to work with other women. Alpha Rift was mostly me and other men, so
There's definitely a strong cast of women in this movie too, which was fun to see.
Mhm.
Yeah, the previous feature I did with Dan was called Alice and the Vampire Queen, and I was Alice. And that was like I was in every scene. I was memorizing a lot of dialogue day to day. And for this one, it was more of like a six-hander. There's like the scientists and the influencers and the robbers. So there's like groups of leads. So I just thought it was a lot of fun to do that kind of film. I'm like a nerd about Lord of the Rings, and that's what it felt like. It was like the fellowship had broken up and there was like, like different pods of people acting at the same time, but I didn't feel like the whole movie was on my shoulders, which was kind of nice. And Dan's very efficient, so, it moves fast, which is also nice.
Yeah, no, that does sound nice. I also think maybe Lord of the Rings might have been, it's a great movie. Might have been more fun if there was a tornado like with filled with gold throughout the realm. That would have
Right.
been interesting too.
A mithril tornado, yeah.
And it seemed like everyone was just having a lot of fun. Like you said, there were the three different groups, but it seemed like everyone was having a lot of fun. Like I love seeing the bloopers at the end, people just kind of like joking about. I assume it was a very like fun group of people to work with and fun time to be on set.
It really was. That's what I hope it is translated in the movie because we just like my cheeks hurt thinking about it. We never stopped laughing.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
And you mentioned the three different groups of people. Had you worked with any of those actors before? I didn't go back and see if any of them were in the other Dan Lantz movies, but was this like a reunion or did you get some new faces in this movie?
I worked with Graham before, but I hadn't worked with Shelby, Xavier, Rachel Aspen before, so that was new.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, almost everyone besides this Rachel were in the Alice and the Vampire movie, and then Graham and I were also in Hayride to Hell together. So yeah, it was a reunion, and we spent a lot of time in that van together, and it was just a blast.
That's awesome. Just I love it. Just like a big coming home essentially.
Yeah.
It
Uh,
was finally like the two Rachels could meet from the different
the,
Dan films.
And
the extended
crew,
universe is colliding. The multiverse is being done.
Exactly. Yeah.
right, and crew too. Dan uses a lot of the same crew, so it's a full family.
That's
Hmm.
awesome. And speaking of the most important prop, all of that cash, I assume it was all fake. I mean, I don't know. It seemed like it was fake, but I don't know. But it's probably fake. Did you get to keep any of it? Did you get to take any home as souvenirs?
Oh yeah, 100%. I have a lot of fake cash taken back from the movie.
Yeah, when we did the table read, he had our roles written on $100 bill on top of our scripts.
Yeah.
That's
But they were
awesome.
not real. They were for motion picture only. And yeah, they're expensive actually. The
Oh,
fake.
really?
Yeah, like it's like $30 for just a stack like that big of hundreds. So, it's like so much money, but it's like 30 or something like that, and we had a lot of it. So It's funny.
We had a
That's
lot of it and a lot of it flying around, and it was kind of funny to think about, oh, well, if someone finds this, they might think it's real and like, oh no.
yeah, I'm gonna say that farm probably just has like random cash around. Like the bird nests are made with $100 bills. It's gotta be a fun place to be.
Exactly.
Yeah, hopefully they're biodegradable.
Yeah.
Oh, for $30, I hope they are too. So I know we have limited time. I'm going to switch to just a lightning round. They're just lightweight questions about the film. I want to see how your personal experiences map with things in the movie. Feel free to skip any of them. I won't be offended, but I try to keep them very answerable. First question. You both play scientists in this film. What is the most advanced science class that you took?
Most
Oh,
advanced science class. Shelby, do you remember?
um, bio junior year, but it wasn't AP or anything impressive.
Still, you still got through it.
Yeah, I don't know, some kind of chemistry maybe. I mean, high school. I have no idea.
That's that's all you need. This I think I know the answer to this next question, but you both play scientists in this film. Did you ever want to be a scientist?
I
My
wanted to
dad's
be
a
a vet. That was that's the
Veterinary
closest.
science is good. Yeah, that works.
Yeah,
Mhm.
my dad's a doctor, so I definitely considered nurse practitioner at one point, but he told me to go to school for acting, so it's his fault.
Wow, that's
I
awesome.
know, right? It's like
Definitely
the
not.
opposite.
Your dad's not Asian, I can tell, because that is not what an Asian parent would say. But
Yeah.
uh, there are three careers for us: engineer, lawyer, or doctor.
Right, right. No, he's so cool. I'm so
Yeah,
blessed.
that's awesome. Did you ever want to be a bank robber?
Ooh.
Yeah. I
As a
mean, why
child.
not, right? After I'm sure you've seen Heat and all those movies. Why not?
Definitely. I love Place Beyond the Pines, so I'm like always a movie with bank robbing involved. So
And Ryan Gosling was in that, right? So that probably
mhm.
helps you want to be a bank
Yeah.
robber if Ryan
Ryan
Gosling's there.
Gosling on motorcycle, it's all that.
Yeah, I'll hug him. He can drive away.
Yeah, he stole your heart already, right? And maybe you already are, but the last group in this are influencers. Did you ever want to be an influencer? Maybe you are an influencer at this point because you're actors. I assume you have a good social media presence.
Shelby's face.
No, it seems
Yeah,
so
no.
exhausting. Like she says in the movie, it does seem exhausting to have to upload that much content. I feel like a boomer sometimes. I can barely make my posts look good.
Yeah,
No.
I'm not tech savvy. That's not my element.
All right. Well, you're never too old to start, right? Just start building that presence, get those clicks, make sure to put up, some pictures of you with all that cash. You'll start getting there.
Yeah, bikini pics, those work well, I've heard.
I've heard. I tried. It didn't really work for me, but I don't know. Maybe it'll work better for you. Um, have you ever been in a tornado, or maybe near a tornado? Because I assume if you've been in a tornado, you probably wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. There was a tornado in Pennsylvania when I was like 5, and my brother was riding his bike, and my mom had to go find him. So my sister and I were home alone, and I was younger, and I was like, we should go to the basement. And she was like, no, there's tools down there. They'll like fly around and hit us in the head, but she didn't get that like the tornado wouldn't get down there. That's the point. So she laid me on the couch and laid on top of me and put a blanket on us.
Oh,
I
that's
saw it. I saw it pick up a table outside
oh
my
wow.
our like on our patio and smash it. It
That
was
sounds real close.
it was a very early memory for me, and I was really scared of storms for a long time because so this was a full cycle, full circle movie to make. I faced my fears.
Yeah,
Exactly.
no, that sounds very formative. I mean, that's like the start of every like thriller weather movie. You have this experience, and then all of a sudden you become a weather scientist, and like now you're chasing the big storm, right? That's kind of the start of everything. That sounds very formative for you.
The sequel,
Yeah,
like totally.
yeah, definitely. You could bring some of your trauma into the sequel for this
Yeah,
movie.
backstory.
Rachel, what about you? Do you have any traumatizing weather stories from when you were a kid?
No, thankfully, not really. Yeah, I don't remember ever being close to a tornado. I mean, so that wasn't that was foreign.
That's good. That's a good thing. One of the key moments in this movie is when the influencers they go live, they're recording what happens. Have either of you ever gone live on a social media platform? Yeah, you're right. Your social media game is that it's not there.
Oh, like what even is that? There's posts, there's stories, there's notes now. I feel like I can't even keep up. Is live on TikTok or is that Instagram or is it both? Like,
I think it's
It's Instagram, right?
I think it's Instagram and Facebook probably too. It's just basically, you're just live streaming. It's raw. You're out
right.
there showing the world what's happening.
Mhm.
Yeah, nope. Nope.
Well, next time you find some bank robbers, make sure to go live so that the footage gets uploaded simultaneously so they can see what's going on if something happens to you or your phone.
We should have had just like a live stream of the behind the scenes for this movie, honestly.
Yeah,
That's what should
Yeah,
have
yeah,
happened.
you're
that would
inspiring us, David. We'll do
that,
that on the
that would
next
have been fun. No, but I did love in that vein, I did love seeing like all the bloopers at the end of the movie. That was a lot of fun. I love when movies do that. Like I don't think
Mhm.
enough do it. Like if it's a comedy movie and at the end there's none of that, I'm like, come on, like at least there's got to be some bloopers from there. So that was a nice little touch at in the end of this film.
Yeah, it was really nice of Dan. I mean, it was like genuinely a good time. So we made a lot of good memories on that set. I'm glad some of that's included at the end.
Uh, that's awesome.
Yeah, same.
And the last question, this is about a tornado that's dropping cash. People are out there looking for it, trying to find the cash. What is the most cash that you have found?
Mm. Oh. Yeah, I moved to Philly a few years ago and was walking on our street and there was just like 220s
Oh wow.
fresh. They were like fresh. And
Oh
I just
wow.
looked around. I had my dogs with me. I didn't see anyone around. And I was like, I'm taking it, man.
And then you took that to the police station, reported that you found this cash to see if someone came to
Exactly
claim it,
right.
right? Exactly.
Exactly right, David.
Yes,
That's what I did
of
next.
course.
It was a
And
nice.
Rachel's like, right after I moved to Philly, I lost $200 in
I
cash. It was so
know.
sad.
Yeah, no, I wish I was that lucky. Geez, I should hang around Shelby more often.
Yeah, in my fraternity, if you told a bad story, you'd end every story with, and then I found $5 because like every story is good if you find $5. So that's probably the most cash I've found. It's probably like $5
That's
Mhm.
smart. See, that would be a funny bit in a movie, David.
for the sequel. Cash Storm 2, Hurricane. I don't know I'm trying to think of another word. 20
Yeah,
Typhoon, maybe. Sure.
yeah, that's nice.
All right. Well, then, on the flip side, this movie's about some robbers losing $1.2 million in cash to a storm. What is the most amount of cash that you've lost either by losing it or maybe gambling? If you care to share, you can skip it, of course.
Well, I was recently in Vegas over the summer and I've
Oh,
never gambled before, but I really wanted to play. There was like a Game of Thrones gamble. I lost like $60. I'm not gambling again.
I mean, in Vegas, that's actually not a bad night. That's a pretty okay night.
I had no clue what I was doing. So that's my losing money story.
Perfect.
Yeah, I had my rent taken from my purse in New York while I was singing karaoke. Like they took it while I was up singing.
Oh God,
So that
that's
was
awful.
at the time those at the time, I don't know, it was maybe 10 years ago, so I think it was like $800 or $900. It was so bad. I sobbed.
No, that's and karaoke feels like it should be a safe place. Like I know it's not, right? It's still a bar, but like it feels like everyone should be in there for the right reasons to have fun. That's terrible.
Yeah, that was my like, welcome to New York moment.
So you moved back to Philly and started looking for some cash on the floor just to see if you could find
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
exactly.
Uh-huh.
Things are looking up.
Did you at least smash that song that you were singing while your money was being stolen?
That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know.
You probably could. So on that note, on that sad note, the film is being released. You can see a storm lose way more money than $800 or $900, even though it has less of a significant effect on Shelby. But the film is coming to theater or to digital on October 8th, 2024. You are both out promoting that game, the word out. But after people see Cash Storm, is there anything else you are working on? Any other projects you have on the horizon? And we'll start with you, Rachel.
Sure. I was a part of a web series called like Pablo and Hurley, and that episode should be coming out sometime in the next couple of months. And that's also like a comedy, and I get to play a very different kind of character in that. So yeah.
Perfect.
Mhm.
What about you, Shelby?
Of course, all the other Dan Lantz films that we both grace, and I really excitedly shot my first co-star for the HBO Mark Ruffalo series that is being called Task right now, but I think that's a working title. So who knows when that, it's like I shot it in November. It'll probably not come out for another year, but I'm still super excited about it.
That's awesome. That's really cool. All right, so you can wait for both of those, but first check out Cash Storm coming to digital October 8th, 2024. This is Rachel Nielsen and Shelby Hightower. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you,
Thank
Xavier.
you. Thanks so much.